simply just twist back round, get his wrist nice and locked up. In this video, I'm going to be talking all about the cold steel Peacekeeper training knife we have for sale at Enso Martial Arts. I'm going to be talking all about its features, why you'd want to buy this over other self-defense training knives, and at the end, I'm going to show you a few little knife defenses just to get you started practicing some basic self-defense techniques. Hi, my name's Doug Swift. I've been in martial arts for the past 34 years and I've been the owner of Enso Martial Arts for the past 17 years. If you're liking this video, click the little icon, subscribe to his channel and get all the latest videos and updates from Enso Martial Arts. So let's get into this video and learn all about the cold steel Peacekeeper knife. So Cold Steel is an American brand that's got a very good reputation for producing extremely tough weapons. Now, the majority of stuff they sell is stuff that really, as a martial arts shop, we have no interest in at all, but they do produce a small amount of plastic training knives. Now, you know, plastic doesn't sound particularly appealing, but Cold Steel have just gone right above everybody else and produce one of the hardest, most durable training weapons you can get. Now, we sell a number of different things from Cold Steel at Enso. We sell the Bokken, we sell the Scream Stick, and we sell a handful of self-defense weapons. One of them is the Cold Steel Peacekeeper knife. Now, it's quite unique as far as self-defense training knives go because it is effectively got a double edge on it. Now, most of the knives that you get are single edge, and you know, now that this Peacekeeper knife exists, you do wonder actually why so many of the knives are one-sided. Now, it might be like a historical thing because you know, in martial arts, especially the traditional ones, they would use like tantos, wooden tantos for self-defense training. And maybe, you know, stuff got developed from there and just like no one really ever thought about it. But Cold Steel did think about it and they produced a double-edged knife. Now, this is actually really good for self-defense classes when they're mixing it up and they're trying different things and different avenues, adding in new elements that people have got to think about under pressure in the self-defense class. Having a double edge on knife is really important. It means then you can't be whacking the back of the knife or, you know, using that back as a kind of safety zone within your self-defense technique. So yeah, it's really nice to have this in the mix for self-defense weapons. Now, usually when you're talking about knives and weapons and whatever, it all sounds very dangerous. So, which is why we like the Cold Steel stuff here, because there's absolutely no chance of anyone getting cut. You can see on the end, it's a very thick edge, you know, compared to the thickness of my finger is pretty thick, you know, and it does have a little bit of flex in the material. But being made of plastic, and it's actually made like a polypropylene, that's what they call it, and it's an incredibly durable material. There's very little chance that you're actually ever going to break this. So if you are an instructor buying for a class, it's definitely like a one-time buy, really, you know, unless if you know, go out of your way to try and break it. You know, this will last in your club for just years and years. You know, and the only time you need to buy another one is if you want to expand your arsenal of training weapons for your class, or, you know, just buying stuff for fun. So just looking at some of the features on it, it does have quite a good ergonomic handle. It's got quite a bit of grip on there, so you know, it's a nice fit into your hand. It's got this little guard which can help protect your hand a bit, and it's got this double-edged blade. You can see from the size of my hand, you know, it's a relatively short weapon, but pretty standard for a knife, and you know, quite comfortable to use. Now, in the self-defense sort of world, there are people that are relatively twitchy about starting to practice knife defenses, and also if you get caught with it, it can still hurt. Now, they're not the most forgiving weapon. You know, if you clonk this over someone's head, or you do actually jab it in their ribs or in their head or something, it is going to hurt them. So just be aware of that. Just because it's not a sharp knife, that doesn't mean that there's absolutely no chance of someone getting hurt at all. It's still going to hurt if you get jabbed, but obviously they're not getting stabbed to death, so that's very good. But yeah, go easy, or at least make sure you're training with someone who's very experienced if you want to go 100%. You know, that kind of, it's kind of the rule in all martial arts and all kinds of level of sparring and training drills. But yeah, don't think that this is completely injury free as a weapon, but yeah, it's definitely down to the discretion of the two people that are practicing. So that's my disclaimer, and I don't want anyone telling me that they got hurt with this because I said that there was no chance they're getting hurt. That's absolutely not the truth. Now, if you do want something a bit more forgiving, maybe you can try, say, one of the rubber knives. These are much more bendy. You know, they can still hurt a little bit, but these are probably the most forgiving knife we've got. And there are other things like the cold steel training knife that is the one edge equivalent of the Peacekeeper, I guess. You know, and again, this is even thicker, so even less flex in it. So there's lots of different options that you can train with, but yeah, the Peacekeeper is the only double-edged knife we sell, so it's a really good knife to chuck into the mix just to keep people thinking. So I mentioned a few of the weapons that we do have at Enso. So as well as the Peacekeeper, we do also have wooden tantos. We do these in red oak, white oak and black oak. I showed the cold steel and the rubber knives, but we also do rubber guns, which some styles really like having a practice with. Again, it's just something new and a different way to train. We have two different types of Kubotans and two types of cold steel Koga. We also do the shark pen, good bit of fun, and cold steel say it's indestructible. So what kind of styles are going to be training with this? Well, there's kind of two camps in martial arts for self-defense training. There's the traditional route and there's kind of the modern route. Now, some of these styles can switch over a little bit, so you do get some jiu-jitsu styles that go, you know, more street defense based, but it's basically jiu-jitsu, ninjutsu, some styles like that that are going to be practicing a lot of knife defenses. Tends to be the Japanese ones. But then you get the more modern styles like the Krav Magas, the Casey fighting methods, fast defense systems, styles like this. Now there's going to be loads of different ones because people go and learn techniques and they set up their own businesses. But as a general rule, if you're looking for a club, they're the ones that you probably want to Google and do a search for. Now, just having a look at the dimensions. Now, we'll put everything on the website that I can think of, so if you want to know more about it, go and have a look. But this measures in at exactly 1 foot, you know, around 30 centimeters. And having a look at the weight, this weighs in at 90 grams, so pretty lightweight. So as promised at the beginning of the video, I'm going roping Connor to show you just a few knife defenses. There's just a few little knife defenses just to get you started practicing with knife defenses if you've got someone that wants to practice with you. Just a little disclaimer, this isn't meant to be sort of street defense 101. Like, every bit of information here is going to save your life. It's just to give you a little bit of information about getting started with knife defenses and just something you can have a try with. If you do want to learn like some kind of street defense, self-defense system, go to a club, you know, go to a style like Krav Maga or Casey fight method, fast defense, something like that. There's loads of them, and get a really good idea of like self-defense and pressure testing. This is literally just to give you an idea of something you can do with this product. So just show you a few little wrist locks really. So if Connor just stabs me straight to my chest, the first thing is just get out of the way. Really nice and simple. You just don't want to be at this business end really. It's definitely like the worst place to be. So get yourself out of the way and somewhat counterintuitively get your left arm over the top of Connor's arm here. Now I like to get my thumb on the back of his wrist, and you can put your thumb next to it and simply just twist back round, get his wrist nice and locked up. It's hard for him to hold on to the knife then. He's in quite a compromised position. You get all these comments as, yeah, he could then smack you in the face, but also so could I. I've got a free one and he's compromised, so I can control him a bit but make him very uncomfortable with this wrist lock, get the knife out and run away. Now you can do the same thing on the inside. So if Connor comes in and I move out the way, and then you can move back into the same wrist lock, he's then out the way. The only problem is you're kind of going right into kind of a dodgy area where knees and elbows and heads are kind of in the way. But you know, if you can get out of the way nice and quickly, you can then get him out the way, get the knife, give him a kick and do a runner. So always better to be on the outside. Also, if you can get away, you can just leg it, get yourself out of the way, much more sensible thing to do. But yeah, those wrist locks I think are really nice little things just to practice. It's quite good learning how to manipulate someone's arm, and you know, the knife gives you a little bit of focus for something to get out of the way of. So yeah, that's a few little tricks just to play with and see how you get on. Thanks very much for watching. I hope it was useful. I hope you learned loads about the cold steel Peacekeeper knife we have for sale at Enso. If you like this video, remember to subscribe to the channel and get all the latest videos from Enso Martial Arts. Thanks very much, and I'll see you soon. Cheers!